And welcome to another episode of the Hammer Drops. I'm your host, Laoch. Today we have a very special show for you. We originally supposed to be doing the show on Friday night roundtable, but we had to bump Friday night roundtable to Saturday morning coffee with the urban legend, Mark Urban. Now, a little bit of background on Mark Urban, or the urban legend as he would like to be called, is that he's from Northern Illinois, and if chances are pretty good, you have seen his vehicle rolling around. The fuck Joe Biden flag, the Trump flags, the whole 9 yards. So today we are going to talk politics with none other than the urban legend. Want to get his views and his takes on everything that's going on and just in the world today, from COVID to Trump to Biden to DeSantis. We're going to cover a whole bunch of stuff today. So sit back, enjoy the show. It's going to be an explosive one. Let's get on with the show. Let's welcome the urban legend, Mark Urban, to the show. Mark, why don't you give the audience a little lowdown on who you are and why you've decided, because you're a very boisterous person, especially when it comes to politics across social media. And as you know, our voices need to be heard, especially in this fifth generational war that we are actually able to participate in. So what made you decide to get involved in this?
Always been inspired by Mancow and different radio podcast shows, and I'm pretty loud on Facebook behind the keyboard. Figured I'd try to get it out there, being friends with you, that try something new.
No, well, you've been doing a good job. I know that you've had to make numerous accounts on Facebook because, just as myself, I seem to get banned or kicked off for a little bit on different ones because Facebook doesn't like to know that. Well, they don't like us to tell the truth, and it's like that. It's that pill that's hard for them to swallow. And well,
it went from getting banned from naked girls to now getting banned about politics. Now we can post at half naked women, and they don't give a rat's ass.
No, and I'm sure if people really wanted to, now you can. Well, obviously with this transgenderism that's going on, that you can post that bullshit up there, and it's fine. Speaking of that, did you see how the new Navy recruitment video?
Oh yeah, they recruited that training.
Yeah. They have a transgender trying to recruit people, and they actually just started to retract that. It's like, how are you expecting to get anybody that wants to join the military when you got shit like that going on?
Well, look at Bud Light.
Well, yeah, they went down $5 billion relatively quickly.
Next 3 years, it should be done.
Well, all of Anheuser-Busch is suffering. Even I've seen the videos of like some of the workers. I mean, I feel bad for the workers because it's not their fault. It just the company decided to go woke.
Yeah. That's what happens with them all.
Yeah. Well, what do they say now? If you go woke, you go broke, and some big companies are starting to see that, which is great because honestly, I'm personally sick of it. I don't know I mean, it's just getting shoved down our throat, and it's, in my opinion, I think it's all part of their, I guess you can say, their master plan, to weaken America,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want to be a trans, be a trans. You want to be gay, be gay. Don't push it on me.
Exactly. And that's where I'm at with it. But unfortunately, even though we're at that point with it, it doesn't seem to really matter, because if you just, even by saying that, they're going to look at you and be like, oh, well, you're transphobe, or you're homophobic, or you're this or you're that, and you're racist because you don't believe in that. It's like, but that's not my beliefs.
Yeah, I can believe in whatever I want to believe in.
Exactly. So now you are infamous in Northern Illinois for the Chrysler 300 with the "fuck Joe Biden" flag and the. Now I have to ask, how many dirty looks, or just people just driving up to you, flipping you off? How many people have done that to you?
In reality, when I first did it, it was pretty bad. But as time went on, it got a lot more positive than negative.
Oh, well, that's a positive. Now, when it first started, I mean, like, what was the worst that happened?
Oh, God, people running up on me, flipping me off, trying to yell. But the windows were so dark in that car, they couldn't even see me laughing at them. They tried yelling at me, and they couldn't. It was hilarious. You could see all the reactions and laugh at them, and they didn't even know.
No, that's It's like that's how a lot of people, like even my wife, she's like, yeah, I saw a car in McHenry. It had the fuck Joe Biden, it had like Trump and all that stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Mark.
Yeah, it was pretty well known. I'm kind of sad I got rid of it. I still got the flag, but I just haven't put it on the new car.
Nah, well, I'm sure coming closer to the good old election time, I'm sure that flag will probably go back up.
Maybe I'll have to. That Trump head was $3. I might have to order another one.
I think that was priceless right there.
He looked pretty good on the BMW.
Yeah, I think he would. I mean, he looked good on the Chrysler. I'm sure he'll look real good on that Beamer.
Yeah. It definitely got some attention.
So, I have to ask, what are your true feelings about Biden?
Love the guy. Who can't? You can't love such an idiot. You can't not like such an idiot. It's just entertaining to watch. Who falls upstairs? I don't even do that drunk.
No, you know what? Neither do I. And growing up, especially in where we live, one of the pastimes for us was, let's face it, when we were kids. And the house I grew up in, our stairs were so narrow, and I would remember just getting hammered and running up and down them like it was nothing.
Sure, yeah. Even in college, we fell downstairs, never upstairs.
Right. But then we have a president that falls down up the stairs. It's just like, how is that even possible?
It falls off a bike standing still.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if that. Go ahead.
He just fell over.
I wonder if that's all publicity stunt.
It's all staged. He's not the. He can't be.
Well, I've seen some videos, and which could start going over into like the whole cloning aspect. Because there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are out there about Joe Biden.
That's not. We're crazy.
Right.
The conspiracy theories were crazy.
Yeah, but I think aren't we? We haven't been wrong about one thing yet.
No, not yet. No, I haven't seen one yet. I mean, the wrinkles on the back of his neck, the long ears. It's pretty obvious.
Well, if you do a Google search, just type in Joe Biden, and you get so many different pictures of Joe Biden, and it's like none of them look the same. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, which Joe Biden are we getting today?
Well, look at the White House at the Castle Rock, and they use the excuse that he does better on the stage than he does in the White House. No, because you're not in the White House. I've seen multiple videos where Washington D.C. is a ghost town.
Yeah, I've seen videos. There's this one lady on Facebook, and that's precisely what she does. She's actually was down at the house this week and taking video. It's like a ghost town. They're doing some work like planting trees that are supposed to take 8 months.
Yeah. But the fence is up for remodeling.
Yeah, but I mean everything else is just like it's
Who
just
puts a fence around the building to remodel it?
That's a good question.
I don't fence my house to remodel it.
Yeah.
I'd put fence around the house and remodel it.
Well, which is funny that you mentioned that because Biden and Kamala Harris are so against, like, they're saying that the border is perfectly fine. Nothing's going on down there. Yet this week, they've announced that they're sending 1,500 soldiers down there. All of them speak Spanish, mind you. But remember when Trump wanted to do that? Boy, did Kamala Harris get all pissy about that. Like, oh, that's a waste of resources.
Because it goes against their agenda. Right. And Trump's such a bad guy, Well,
and I think because Trump isn't your normal guy. He goes against the grain. That's what scares him the most.
He's a businessman, not a politician.
Exactly.
That's what I don't like about DeSantis, however the hell you say his name.
Oh, DeSantis. Well, there's a lot of things with him that are coming out of the woodwork. He had a meeting with Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan, two known rhinos, wanting to back him for the 2024 election. And it's like, I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah. But I think Trump has got like double-digit lead. I mean, I think he's at like 40%. Their polls right now, I think they have him at like 43 or 45%, and I think he's not even close.
Trump's already proved himself.
Right.
That's the thing. He's got there 4 years and he's already proved himself. And look at the conspiracy theorists about he's a shadow president. I've seen a lot of stuff about that, but who knows?
Well, and then when it comes to COVID, that they're going to try to push that off on. I mean, they're already starting to try to push that off on Trump, like it's Trump's fault, especially with the vaccine and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which we all know that the vaccine, it's killing people.
Yeah.
I think it's 6.9 million people across the world have died.
And I'm sorry, I have to laugh at that. I think it's great. You take something in your body and now you're having health problems. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where it's at. I mean, it's funny because people, instead of asking the question, what's in the shot, to find out, they just, took the word of WHO, which we already know that they want to be the one world government leader to control everything.
Yeah.
And then they believe the CDC, which have lied time and time again, and then the FDA is just getting money pumped into them to let these drugs just come on out without being tested properly.
And you don't even need to be a conspiracy theorist to see all this. You just got to have a fucking brain.
Exactly. Well, and that's the funny thing. It's like all these other people, that aren't believing this. There's a lot of people that are starting to wake up. I've got friends that for the longest time were like, pro-vax and this and that, spoke out, like, stay home and this. Now they're starting to wake up, like, and they're literally saying, fuck you, Fauci, fuck you, government, this and that, for putting this poison in people's bodies, knowing what the outcome's going to be.
And as funny as it is, it's sad to watch these people, that, like the sheep went and got the shot and now are having a problem. Like, it's some of them instantly,
Well, I think one thing that drives me nuts, especially when it comes to that aspect of it, is people like me, people like you. We didn't get the vaccine. We chose not to. But again, we weren't there like hoping that the people that got the vaccine were going to die from it, get sick from it, or anything like that. But the people that got vaxxed, boy, did they attack the unvaxxed like that. And it's like... You don't get attacked much anymore. The vaccine doesn't even really get talked about much anymore. No. Well, you got to ask yourself, how do we expect that something's going to work with 10 months of research when we don't have a cure for cancer, we don't have a cure for AIDS, we don't have cures for all this other stuff, but yet 10 months, this COVID vaccine is supposed to prevent you from getting it, from dying and all this stuff, and yet here, take another shot, another one. It's like, come on.
Well, look at the people that have diabetes and insulin. They didn't make that free. They didn't give that away. They raised the price on that, but gave the COVID away shot free.
Well, I don't think it was 100% free. Our government still took our taxpayer money, and I think they gave Pfizer like billions of I want to say upwards to $5 or $6 billion or more.
Yeah, but you personally couldn't go into Walgreens and just get an insulin shot for free.
No, you couldn't. But, that's one thing that Joe Biden touts now is that, he's made insulin cheaper.
Oh, yeah. Why to try to cover up the mess that they've created?
Oh, yeah. I was actually on Twitter this morning, and it's funny. I've seen some stuff that Biden is trying to take credit for, like the strongest job growth, like 12.5 million jobs created in his presidency, saying that Trump didn't create shit. It's like, no, because when Trump was in office, we had the best economy that we've ever had. Jobs were like the lowest unemployment until COVID hit. And
remember looking at the pay stub on your check and you're like, why does it seem like I'm making more money? My taxes are less.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Biden got in office and now it's like I pay more taxes than I bring home.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I see my check stubs and it's like, damn, I'm spending a lot of money in taxes, but he's not taxing people people like me and you. It's more for the rich.
Yeah, the rich. Yeah,
the rich. Yeah. Let's be honest here for a second. What the Democrats want is rich and poor. It's like Hunger Games. And essentially,
Oh
that's
yeah,
what it's going to be like here soon.
yeah. They're causing the divisions with the trans and the straight people, the blacks and the whites.
Yeah.
It's all division.
Well, and exactly, and with the blacks and the whites, it's if there's anything that from a white person like that former Marine in New York that ended up putting that one guy in the chokehold, and the guy died. He was black because I don't know the whole story. I think he was being attacked or something like that. So he defended himself, and the black guy died. But now the white Marine is like he's public enemy number one now. But when roles are reversed with all this black on white crime that's happening, there's nothing to be said about that.
Well, look at the movies nowadays. They're really pronouncing the racial division.
Mm-hmm.
Shows and movies of today. I watch movies with my mom all the time, and she's like, "Wow, it's gotten worse and worse and worse." And that's what they're trying to do, to divide us.
Yeah. Well, between dividing us, and then when you're watching even network TV, I don't know if you've noticed it, especially at night. It's either remember when growing up, we had commercials when it shows like toys for kids and just different products. Now the only products we're seeing are
vaccine, the COVID,
pharmaceutical, or you have the because we got to push this this whole LGBTQ plus narrative on all of us, or should you see commercials about that?
Yep. Yeah, we don't see the cool commercials, like the Transformers commercials, the cool commercials, like nothing. Look at even the TV. Remember All in the Family?
Oh, yeah.
I watch it with my 25-year-old. He's like, Dad, what the fuck is this? We would have never got away with that nowadays.
No.
So no.
Well, and then if, I don't even, like TBS is doing like American Dad now because for whatever reason, American Dad's not on Fox, which is great. But even with American Dad, I mean, so I'm surprised that show hasn't been canceled, to be honest with you, or Family Guy for that matter. Hell, even The Simpsons. I mean, now they're starting to attack The Simpsons because of Apu or whatever the hell, saying it's racist.
Everything's racist.
Right. It's like the show's been around for over 20 years, and now you guys have a problem with it.
If you like Trump, you're racist. I thought racism was a color thing, black and white thing.
Yeah. It blows my mind, and you see a lot more, especially African Americans, black people, whatever. They're going on. They'll go to Trump rallies in hopes that they're going to see some racism, and yet at these Trump rallies, they welcome them with open arms, like, hey, whatever you need, this, that, and it actually changes their mind. And you're seeing more and more videos now, especially like on Twitter and Facebook. I mean, obviously Facebook is trying to push those as far down as they can, but in showing like they're saying how Trump's a racist, and it's like no, and it's pictures of Trump with Reverend Jesse Jackson, with Al Sharpton, and all these people, but because he ran for president and he went against the grain, now he's a racist.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've noticed too, but I've noticed a lot that it's the blacks and the Mexicans and the minorities are waking up faster than us white people.
Yes, they are. I've seen that, and I've seen a lot of
and I know some people feel about TikTok. I sit in a truck a lot, bored, and I scroll out on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, all of it. And you see more on TikTok, more videos of black guys talking about black to Trump, and a lot more Mexicans. And the other day I was at Angelo's in McHenry, and the Mexican kid behind the deli had on a "Make America Great Again" hat on, and you don't see no white guy wearing that shit to work. Well, I mean, we would, but
right, Yeah, no, and it's funny that the narrative that they're trying to push. I mean, have you seen this new narrative that they're trying to push with Tucker Carlson? Like literally trying to discredit the man. When it's like what they did with Trump, they're trying to do with Tucker, and it's completely backfiring, just like it is with Trump.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to tell the truth, and you can't tell the truth.
Right. Well, I think Tucker Carlson did a show a week prior to him getting fired, and I believe the show was about Big Pharma and how it's they're crooked and all this. And it's funny how that show was a week prior to him. Finally, Fox and the Murdochs finally firing him, or taking him off the air. Not necessarily firing him, but they've taken him off the air. They're still going to pay him over $100 million to not do anything because they don't want him to go to another station to be able to talk.
Yeah, and speak more of the truth. You just pay him to shut up. And that's the way it is for all of them.
Well, apparently, I think he did I want to say he was on a podcast with that. What's her name? Tula, whatever her name is, the ex-Democrat that went Republican. Supposedly, she's ex-military and all that.
Yeah.
He went on there and was talking about some stuff, I guess, but I'm sure that's going to get some backlash. I know the latest one that I saw was now they're basically like trying to make him look like some sort of sexist pig. It's like, really, the guy's been married for over 20 years, and you're going to try to bring this shit up? It's like, come on.
Going after Trump for that stripper from 10 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever that was, 8 years ago.
Oh, that's Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels, that's her name.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole Alvin Bragg is 34 or 35 accounts of felonies, and all this shit, trying to go after Trump, and it's like all they're trying to do is trying to stop him from running, which isn't going to happen. No. If they'd done anything, they just helped him out, because I believe when the news first came out that he was being indicted and he got arrested and stuff like that, or turned himself in, I should say, I think he generated $5 million in donations, right off the bat. It's like, how are you going to stop this man?
Every time they do something like that, it makes him more popular.
Yeah, it's making him a martyr. And
the 300 with the Trump flag would have been great nowadays. It would have got the best attention it ever has. But that's because you're trying to stop the guy, make him look bad. These people are just waking up.
Well, I mean, so who do you think? Do you think RFK Jr. is going to beat out Biden for the Democratic nod?
I'm not really sure on that one.
My only concern about RFK, now I like what he says, and I'm not a Democrat. There's a lot of things that he said that is legitimately I can kind of sit back and agree with, because he's not your typical Democrat. But one, I have this feeling that he's going to end up having the same fate as his father did and his uncle did. For some reason, it just seems like it's doing that, or it's just all smoke and mirrors again. Because you got to look at it like that too. I mean, everything nowadays is smoke and mirrors, especially with our government. You can't trust them.
No, you can't trust none of them.
And but the funny thing is that I don't know if you've heard this, but the Democrats have already said that Biden's not going to be doing any debates, which goes completely against democracy.
Well, why do you have to do a debate when you're cheating? When you're cheating anyway?
Well, that is true. But wouldn't you think by them saying that there's going to be no debate between him and say RFK Jr., doesn't that? I mean, that's got to tell you. I mean, at least people tell them that there's going to be cheating going on, and that's why they're not going to debate.
Come on, these people aren't that aware nowadays. Look how stupid these people are.
I can totally agree.
The mask in the restaurant to your table, but can take it off when you sit at the table. That one just bored me.
And the sad thing is, you still see people wearing them.
Yep. Even in their car. Yeah. Alone in their car.
Yeah, I see it every day. It's sickening.
Yep.
And I think I wonder if Biden's going to actually get out and on the campaign trail instead of campaigning from his basement this time.
No.
You think
it's going to be a repeat?
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Do you think they're gonna? I don't know, because they tried to do it, I think, in 2016 with Hillary Clinton, But I think Trump got out to such a substantial lead that there's no way for him to cheat without it being caught.
I think they're gonna have a hard time cheating this time around.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, especially when during.
What's really strange is you don't see a lot of campaigning commercials on any of it.
No, you don't. And this is like
look at when Hillary and Trump went toe to toe. It was all day, every day, 24/7, every commercial.
Right.
That's all they talked about. You don't see much talk about it anymore.
No, I think the only things I've seen come out of the Trump camp are kind of some attacks or whatever against DeSantis. But there's nothing been like given back, like going against Trump, I guess you can say. But yeah, I haven't seen anything except Biden's stupid video and the January 6th conspiracy.
and they talk about MAGA in the video. All you're doing is helping it more.
Yeah. Well, they've pretty much any Republican now, I think, or conservative is a MAGA. They consider it MAGA. And you're considered enemy of the state number one because you're going against the narrative and the Democrats.
Yeah.
Which is sad. I mean,
well, look at all the Trump rallies going. He's still doing rallies for what? You don't see Biden or any of them doing rallies.
Well, and the only one, any rallies that Biden has done, they've had to pay people and bust them in. But again, that's something that people don't want to believe. They don't want to believe that they're being paid. And then I'm sure there's probably some green screens going on where they're adding more people to it to look like there's even more people. But you can tell.
The videos on TikTok of New York when he was going to, when he was for the Stormy Daniels thing. Mm-hmm. All the videos on TikTok of the streets with all the Trump flags and all the Trump people were being taken down or not shown.
Right.
But the videos of the couple little Biden people standing there, that were for Trump going to jail, those are all, stayed up on TikTok and everything was great.
Well, any one of Biden's, I think when he was in Ireland, they were saying like how the Irish came out in full force and all millions of people were there to see Biden. It's like, and you get glimpses of some of the video. It's like, yeah, maybe 1,000 people at best. There's no way.
There's no way.
No way the Irish are going to support a demented old man like that. And a pedophile.
What was that last year, the year before, where all them people, I don't remember what state it was, went to a Biden rally or Obama was there and they all went in there to talk shit, to yell, "Let's go, Brandon." Where was that at?
Oh, I think that was in, shit. I want to say that was in Pennsylvania somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was
they were all lined up outside, and the news was saying how great look at how big the Biden supporters are, and then when they went inside, it was Obama or Biden talking, and they were all yelling, "Let's go, Brandon," and they just completely flipped.
Yeah, and actually, I posted that video, and immediately it went getting community standards, and I got a fucking ban for that.
For sure.
They're like, this video is doctored. And obviously I do video editing quite a bit, and I can tell you that it wasn't a doctored video because you can tell there's little things you can tell when you see doctored video, and where your voice is going to be off, or you'll see some sort of a transition or stuff like that. And there was none of that. Like, the video was dead on. I mean, unless you're like God, there's no way in fucking hell you're going to do that.
Yeah. Well, look at the "Let's Go, Brandon" thing. Look how that all started. That blew up in their face.
Oh, and it's still going on. You have in schools now, the kids are doing it.
Yeah. And shirts, hats, I mean, everywhere.
But they don't want the people to know that. I think there's I saw a statistic. I think 73% of people think that Biden's age is going to be a huge factor coming into 2024. And another, I want to say it was like 46% of people. Well, actually, I think it's more than that. But I mean, we know how they pad the numbers. Don't even want this guy to run.
No.
But then you got guys like Gavin Newsom. I mean, this guy, he's a fucking joke. Pelosi's nephew.
Oh, yeah.
The guy can't even control his own state. I mean, San Francisco wants to give $1.2 million to each African American resident for reparations for slavery, when California never had slaves.
Never had say. Well, they're trying to buy votes. Is what they're trying to do.
And a little history lesson. I did I put up a blog on the website about the transatlantic slave trade, which clearly shows. I mean, if you know history, which they're not teaching the history like we learned in school, but if you actually go back and actually learn history, it was Western Africa would invade different tribes, and their captures or their POWs or however you want to look at it were taken into slavery and sold. Yeah. And here's another little lesson for all the people that are listening to the show, that the first person in America that owned a slave that was recognized by the courts
was a black guy.
Exactly. Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson, that was his name. Yep.
Yeah, but they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that at all.
No, because it goes against their agenda, and that's what they're trying to do. Delete the history, then we don't learn nothing from it.
Right. Well, that's why they're trying to delete Christopher. They successfully, I think, deleted Christopher Columbus. I mean, if you know history, you already know that the Scandinavians made it to America first, 500 years before Christopher Columbus. But but then they're like, well, Christopher Columbus, he came in here and completely, killed all these Indians. And which back in those days, I mean, you have to realize that kind of shit happened, but it's kind of the same thing that happens today in society. Essentially, society we repeat history, unfortunately.
We do.
I mean, if you look at the Roman Empire, I mean, it fell because of government, the money, immigration. Same three factors are happening today.
Yeah. Well, look what's happening to the banks and all that. 4 years, like we had COVID, now we have the bank crisis.
Well, which is going to lead us up to the Fed Now system that is going to be implemented in July.
Yep.
Which, what I find funny about that is, I think the latest one was First Republic Bank. The government came in and took them over and essentially sold them to JP Morgan Chase, which, if you know anything about JP Morgan Chase, you know that the head of JP Morgan Chase he made numerous trips to Epstein Island. It heavily involved with BlackRock and all of them. So it's kind of funny that the big six banks are going to be buying up all these little ones. So that way you have easier control over everything. But even in that aspect, people don't want to realize that. I've seen people say, oh, digital currency will be a great thing. It's like, what? Why would you? Go ahead.
I don't know, but is it really going to be that bad? I mean, but what if it could be a good thing?
Well, digital currency, if you want to look at China in this, because they're trying to base everything on like how China runs it with the social credit scoring and all that stuff. So basically, people like me and you, especially if that social credit scoring goes into effect, we're fucked, because they'll shut us down from being able to buy anything. With digital currency and the central bank, it's going to be completely controlled by our government. Now, why would we want our government controlling our money? If you look at other countries like Nicaragua that went through this, they literally, because at the start of it, they only had like 3% of people that went with it. So what they did is they pretty much constricted the banks, only allowing the citizens $40 a week to live off of, when one person needed, for a family, $43 a day. So you're only getting $40 a week to feed your family. So their government literally was killing their people because of this. And that's central. That's the digital currency that's coming. So essentially, like, from all the research I've done on it, if your carbon footprint is too much, they'll restrict what you can buy. Yeah. If you buy, like, you like steak, you like to go out and buy a steak. So if you go out and buy a steak and they're like, well, you know what? Mark said this about Joe Biden, so we're going to restrict him from being able to buy steak now. No more steak for Mark.
Well, the electric cars, you can't go to work now because your car don't start. You shut it off.
Exactly. And the funny thing, they do that shit in China. They will literally shut down the cars in China so you can't go anywhere. And then with all of that, you got the 15-minute cities that are just waiting to roll in, which will put us into that Hunger Games environment. You know,
God, who would want to live like that?
Well, I know in Cleveland, I think it's just north of where that train derailment was. Cleveland there's a spot in Cleveland where it's the very first 15-minute city. They're testing it out now as we speak.
Oh my God, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, and go figure. It's north of East Palestine, right where that train derailment is. Mm-hmm. Which is, I'm still thinking that I have my take on the whole train derailment and why they're doing it and I feel like they're doing this to get people to leave properties so they can be bought up cheaper by, you know, the Bill Gateses, the Chinese, and all them for farming. I mean, hell, our government has allowed China to come in here and have numerous, like a couple police stations that have just been found and buying up farmland right next to military bases.
Well, look at that movie White Noise. It showed months before the train derailment was an exactly what happened.
Yeah.
White Noise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I heard about that. And I also heard that there's actually residents of East Palestine in that movie as like,
oh, wow.
So it's like, wow, man. It's like they literally got front row seat to what was going to be happening.
Yeah. They tell us what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny thing is like they'll go on TV, they'll say what they're doing, and they'll laugh about it, and they'll get the clapping, you know, the whole electronic clapping, the fake clapping, so people they'll just kind of lose connection with that aspect of it, and just be like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, what did he say again?
It's like a kid. What can we get these 2 10-year-olds to do? Stupid. They'll do it. You laugh at them.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly, I think, what is happening right now. I mean,
you know, can we get these people to mask up or line up to get the shot? And they do it. You know, can we get them to walk into a restaurant with a mask on but take it off at the table? And they do it. You know, they're probably sitting around drinking their fancy drinks, laughing at us.
Oh,
and most people fall for it.
Yeah. And I would have to say probably about, if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say about 60% of Americans are falling for it still.
60, yeah.
Which I think is still lower than what it was. So I mean,
it was more than that because you still don't see people like they were when COVID first hit.
No. When COVID first hit, everybody's like, oh, geez, no. You know, stay away. You know, I've gotten COVID twice, or the flu twice, I like to say, and it was very mild.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is those every time I went to get tested when I got COVID the 2 times, I was fine except for a scratchy throat, like, you know, your typical cold.
Typical cold. There's no difference.
Right. But when I went to get tested, that's when I got worse. Is after I got tested. So
they shove that thing up your nose.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they have on the end of that. If they actually have some sort of virus or something like that on the end of that, and when they stick it up your nose to actually get you sick or get you worse.
To get you to get the shot.
Yeah. Which if anybody's done their research, the only reason why they're pushing the shot so much is for the mRNA. They want to get the mRNA in everybody. So, you know, and that's another thing which you can now look back at with the digital currency that they want to push, is that they're going to try to force that aspect on you as well. If you want to access your money, guess what? You have to get the shot.
Get the shot, yeah.
Which
look at that COVID place on 120 and 31. Look how that girl used to come out with the cotton swab, dressed like in a nuclear bomb suit, and come out with a swab your nose.
Yeah, when it's already been.
Rubber gloves would have been ample enough.
Yeah. Which has already been, proven that it. I've been around people that have been sick, and I've never gotten sick. So that makes me wonder, how contagious is it really? Or is it in something that you're ingesting? Is it in the water?
An immune system will heal you better than anything.
Yeah. Well, natural immunity is like the best. But again, we're following science here, Mark. We can't follow science like that. We got to follow their science.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're crazy talking now. We're crazy talking.
Yeah. We're just gonna keep So I mean, we got to follow the science.
You need to get the vaccine, and you need to make sure you do what we're told.
Yeah. Fuck them. Fuck them. I'm never gonna get that vaccine. You can try and take my money and whatever, and you know what? I'll figure a way to survive without it.
My son is, I got a son that's handicapped.
Mm-hmm.
27 years old. Never had COVID. Barely ever gets sick. Told me when he was a baby he'll never make it past 13, never get over 100 pounds. And he's 130 pounds, 27 years old. Never had the vaccine shot. Typical medicine when he gets sick.
Mm-hmm.
But the doctors still to this day push that vaccine on him. Why would I stick that needle in his arm when he never even had COVID? When my mother had COVID, when I had COVID, he didn't even catch it.
Exactly. Why? You shouldn't.
Why? Make it worse for him?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the doctors, it's been proven that they get extra money for everybody that gets on the vaccine plan and gets all of their jabs that they're supposed to. They get extra money for it. It's just like when
look at the hospitals getting extra money when they would claim a death as a COVID death.
Yeah. Or if they put somebody on a ventilator, or if they even had a positive COVID test.
Yeah. Just follow the money. Follow the money.
Yep. Well, you can follow the money all the way up to BlackRock and Vanguard and all them. But again, that's crazy talk.
That's crazy.
Well, eventually people will start waking up. I saw a video with Zelensky.
But they're making it more obvious every day.
Oh, they are.
And people still aren't. It's like, come on.
Well, and I think people don't understand like who's really controlling things. I mean, you got I was like with BlackRock and Vanguard, they own. Just everything. Between those, they own everything. Exactly. And I just saw there's a video on Twitter of Zelensky from Ukraine having a meeting with the powers to be at BlackRock. Now, if that doesn't tell you anything, that this Ukraine war is complete bullshit, I don't know what else will.
Yeah. Well, look at the Ukraine war. Look at the videos of the news, and then the person showing the live video where there are people walking around in the news and showing all these bombs and all this. Come on.
Oh yeah, I saw a video of if everything was so bad in Kiev and Ukraine, why are they having these nightclub parties? I saw a leaked video of a nightclub party out there, and it's like, what's that all about?
I saw a TikTok where a guy took the phone to his TV, and it showed war in Ukraine, and then he showed the people walking around outside on their bikes, and it was all, sunny sky, happening now.
Yep. Yeah, but they want us to believe that things are so bad in Ukraine, and that's why, it's funny. Like anytime they address gas prices or inflation or anything like that, it automatically goes to, well, since ever since Russia invaded, gas is down now $1.40 a gallon. It's like, bitch, it's still $2 more than it should be right now.
And it's always Ukraine. It's always Ukraine. Their money laundering hub. It's always Ukraine.
Yeah.
Let's help Ukraine. Let's help Ukraine.
Oh yeah, it's funny how we help Ukraine with their pensions and all of that stuff when we have how many homeless military veterans here at home, how many homeless people just in general. Yet we can send hundreds of billions of dollars over there that hasn't made it to their military, because it's been gobbled up and making their politicians even richer.
Yeah, but it's not even going to the people of Ukraine. It's going to the politicians out there.
Exactly. Well, I think the head of the banking system in Ukraine, he's driving around a brand new Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
It's like, how is that even possible when, it's just like, come on. But people still, I can walk down the street. When I go for a walk, I walk down the street. I still have one person flying a Ukraine flag. And I still, every day, anytime I walk, I shake my head. It's like, because then on the other one, he's got an American flag. It's like, you're not a fucking, no. Take down that fucking Ukraine flag. Fuck Ukraine. It's just a sham. That's all it is.
Well, look at the gay flag now. We're supposed to respect the gay flag, but why not respect the American flag?
No, exactly. And honestly,
if you respect the American flag, you have a right. That's called freedom, and you have the right to be gay. Mm-hmm. We have the right to be gay. You have the right. If we all respect the American flag, everything will be fine. You can have your fucking gay flag.
Oh, exactly.
But just respect the American flag.
No, but they won't do that. No, and I find, and I think between the LGBTQ plus, what I think that plus stands for? Pedophile.
Pedophile. Yep.
Because they're trying to normalize pedophilia in our society all over.
Well, they're trying to normalize it so they can get away with it.
Yeah. They're grooming the kids in school, which is, if you look at any other country, the schooling system in any other country, whether it's China, whether it's UK or whatever, they teach history. Hell, China teaches their kids how to properly clean a weapon, how to properly take it apart, put it back together, reload, shoot, all that stuff. While we're here, our kids are being taught that it's okay for a transgender to shake his booty in front of you.
Yeah, or cut your balls off at 10 years old.
Right.
You can't drive a car at 10 years old. You can't get a tattoo at 10, 12 years old. But if you want to cut your dick off, you can cut your dick off.
Right. And I think the reason why they're doing all of this, like pushing this...
Dumbing down America.
Dumbing down America so they don't know the history, and what the Second Amendment is truly supposed to be about. The fact that we're a constitutional republic... And just to dumb down this nation, Gen Zers, so they welcome communism to come in or socialism. They'll say, well, socialism is great. So, okay, it's great. So that means that if you have 2 gallons of milk at your house, well, one of those gallons are going to be mine now. That's socialism. You got $100,000 in your house or $100,000 in the bank. Well, 50,000 of that's going to be mine.
I work for the $100,000. That's mine. Get up your ass and work for your $100,000.
Exactly. But they're teaching Americans.
Participation trophies ruined it.
Oh, God, yes, that did. It's like, okay, good job, Timmy. You did a good job. You participated. Didn't play it down. Didn't throw a ball, nothing, but you participated. You showed up every day.
Yeah. You didn't run that mile and earn that trophy. You were just there.
Exactly. But that's exactly how you said. That's another thing that is killing our education system, killing just our society. And I see more people starting to wake up from that as well, but I think there's a lot more work to get done. And one question I've always had is, why do these transgenders need an audience of children?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It is, isn't it?
But you watch these videos of these transgenders that have been trans for a while, they're totally against it.
Yeah. You see a lot of gays against.
There's one girl on TikTok. She says, I'm a transgender. I've been a transgender. It's for the adult entertainment. I would never push down a child. And you parents that do or allow these or go to these places where the children are allowed are sick.
Mm-hmm. But it's part of the grooming, part of the pedophile aspect. And I think that's truly what it's about.
It's all about the pedophile, like you said, the plus.
Yep.
The LGB is not the problem. It's the QT plus that's the problem.
Yes. And now you have radicals in there, but if you, the Democrats would be like, oh, it's not radical. They're just misunderstood. But
it's radical.
Yeah. Well, considering the last, I think 6 or 7 of the last mass shootings have all been done by transgender person.
Yeah.
But the last one was it Tennessee or Kentucky that happened at that church school. It's funny how President Biden, all of a sudden, there's a trans day. Doesn't say anything else about what happened down there, to the for the families or nothing that were lost, the 3 kids and the 3 adults. But let's give the trans a day. Celebration.
It's always the school. It's always the school shootings, and then they push gun control.
Yes, which makes me wonder because I looked at some.
How much is that stage false flag?
Well, I think it was a false flag. I was looking at some of the video, and the video of the I don't know, girl or guy, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm just going to say it. When it went into the school, it was, if you looked at the shoes, completely different shoes. And then when they show the shoes after it was neutralized, had a different pair of shoes on. So my question is how does somebody, or why would somebody that's going in to commit this kind of a crime change their shoes?
Yeah.
And yet nobody's talking about this.
No. It's all to put, I believe the school shootings are all to push gun control.
Yes, I believe you're right. And I would have to agree with that. And that's because with...
And then you ask these woke people, although nobody would go kill a kid. They wouldn't stage that event. The hell they wouldn't, because that's the easiest way to push gun control is to harm our children.
Well, maybe they need to do a little bit more research on like Pizzagate and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, they come on, crazy talk.
I mean, maybe, but yeah, the crazy talk again. Conspiracy theorists, I think we're like 20-0 right now. Yeah. That's coming out.
20-0, yeah.
I mean,
for real.
We've been right on everything.
Yeah,
and it's so I mean, you don't think that they don't want to harm our children? Look at Pizzagate. I mean, look at Uvalde when that happened. It literally took an hour for them to go in. It's like, come on. And the door was open again. There's just too many inconsistencies that have been happening with these shootings and stuff.
Yeah. Because if they can disarm all of us, it's easier for them.
Oh, easier to take over in the pickings. That's why they want to. One of the things I've noticed.
You see Woodfield Mall getting shot up like you do schools.
No, but you do see a lot more violence out like towards Gurney Mills. If you haven't noticed that,
you see a lot more violence everywhere.
Yes, so far where we're at, we just have to deal with the possibility of a serial killer.
Yeah. the hate and the anger in the world nowadays is disgusting.
Yes, it is. Now,
I drive a truck for a living, and I see more shit. Almost 30 years driving a truck, and I've never seen the hate and the anger. Not waving you over, not waving when you let somebody out, cutting you off, flipping you out. I've never seen nothing like it in my life.
No, and I haven't either. And I work in Chicago, and down there, from when I first started to today, it's like a complete 180. It's fucking crazy in Chicago now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's only going to get worse down there with this new mayor.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, he's already pretty much told the kids, "Don't worry, I have your back." So basically, giving the kids from the south and the west sides to do whatever the hell they want because he's going to have their back and make sure that nothing happens. But I do find it funny that Kim Foxx is not going up for re-election.
Who's Kim Foxx? I don't know.
Kim Foxx is the Soros-backed DA for Chicago, that soft on crime. That's why Chicago is in between her and the mayor. Have just been.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's been a shitstorm. Yeah, it's just been a shitstorm. What's that?
I'm bad with names sometimes.
No problem. So it's.
Well, look at the kids. Look at the kids in Chicago. There's all them videos of them kids are running around doing whatever the fuck they want. And then what does the government say? What does the governor say? Oh, well, if you're hungry, it's okay. You're stealing because they're robbing because they're hungry. goes back to what you said, socialism.
Yep.
If I'm hungry, you just take it.
Well,
the Walmart's shutting down in Chicago.
Yes. And you hear all of the community leaders complaining about that, but it's like, can you really truly blame Walmart for doing this? Because when you're being robbed continuously, millions of dollars, your store's trashed. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, when you can't chase these people, you can't chase these people out the store. You can't approach them. You can just walk into Walgreens, take what you want, and leave.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are they supposed to do? I mean, eventually they're going to shut down. You get them complaining about, about your Walmart's closing down, but then there's going to be 400 Burger Kings shutting down.
Right.
And there's nothing about that. It's just because it's Walmart in Chicago.
I'm a fat guy. I'd rather see a Walmart shut down than a Burger King.
Exactly. Burger King's got some good burgers. I'll give them that. But yeah,
it goes back to their shut. You can only hold on for so long when you're getting robbed.
Yeah. No, and unfortunately,
McDonald's can't try Walmart shutting down, but you're in there robbing the Walmart.
Yeah. Well, then you also have companies like McDonald's who have their headquarters in Chicago, and they've flat out said that they can't get any talent to come work for them because they don't want to live in Chicago because of the violence.
Because of the violence.
I mean, and you can't blame them. I mean, just the first warm weekend we had, where we had downtown, just all those kids from the south and west sides coming up, and just they burned up a fucking Tesla, just destroying downtown like they did last year and during the riots and everything. But it's okay because it's just teenage angst that's happening. They're misunderstood. So if they're so misunderstood,
and the cops can't do nothing, and even if they did, then they they're the bad guy.
Well, a lot of the cops just kind of just sit there and let it happen now. You can't really blame them for it.
You can't be a white cop and go after a black kid because then they can scream, racist, all kinds of shit.
Right.
Look at the whole George Floyd thing.
Oh, jeez.
Another staged event.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we haven't heard nothing about the other cops that were supposedly in on that one either.
No, of course.
And I don't think we will either.
No.
I think it's washed underneath the so-called put underneath the table at this point.
It served its purpose.
Yeah, and it did. I mean, a lot of cities, a lot of places burnt up because of it. A lot of people hurt, a lot of people beaten because of it, and it's creating that division that they're so good at doing.
Remember that area that they had? What was in California somewhere, where those kids took over?
Oh,
they lived there. How they fenced it all off.
Oh, actually, I think that was Oregon, wasn't it? Wasn't that Portland?
Yeah, I can't think of something area. I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I remember I can't remember what the name of it was, but I remember like they had it all fenced off, and they're like had to stand up.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, then they had their tree people down in Atlanta, Georgia, when the one cop shot one of them from Antifa. I guess Antifa have tree people now. So it's like, really? What, are you guys tree huggers now? But I guess one guy, they shot at cops. The cops returned fire, killed one of them, and everybody's in uproar because this guy gets killed because, well, he shot at cops first. It's like, what do you want the cop to do? Just sit there and be like, oh, okay, shoot at me. I don't want to go home today. I don't want to go home to my family.
Yeah, that's what they want.
They just
social. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Have whatever you want. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine.
Right. Well, and it's funny. Back in 2014, this same kind of stuff happened in Ukraine when they took over the government in Ukraine. The same stuff that we saw in 2020 was a precursor of what happened in 2014 in Ukraine, and we're still having it because they haven't been able to have the results that they had with the whole Ukraine when they're able to overthrow the government and all that stuff. And that's why we're still seeing now. this stuff is still happening. And I think coming closer to 2024, you're going to see a big rise in Antifa. You'll see a big rise in BLM, and all of them Marxist groups. Which,
I'm definitely waiting for the riots to start.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to be starting probably, if not this summer, definitely next summer. For sure, next summer.
100%.
And I'm sure we'll have another pandemic on its way just in time as well.
Yeah, of course. People wearing their mask in their car. We'll have that long line into Walmart, into the one door.
Yeah.
The lady with the hand squirter.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have a mask? You got to get the hell out of the store. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think a lot more people now they're starting to.
I think a lot. I don't think they'll ever be able to do that again.
I don't think so either. I think too many people are even.
They will get people to mask up, but I don't think it'll take off like it did. That was pretty bad.
Yeah,
you got the non-maskers. You got people running up to you in the store. That was out of hand.
Well, I mean, hey, Joe Biden just recently said that the COVID pandemic is officially over. He signed documents for it, and the WHO came out and said that it's no longer a risk worldwide. Yeah. Funny how that happens.
Yep. But there's people still masking up though.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll ever get it like they did back in, what was that, 19? They'll never get it back to do that again.
No, I don't think. And if they did, that would be surprising.
Yeah.
Because who wants to have your whole society shut down, locked in your homes, and all this other crap for no reason whatsoever?
Now being a truck driver, I did enjoy the no traffic all day, every day.
Yes, I will agree with that, because driving to Chicago, it was nice. I was able to make it to my job sites in about 40 minutes.
And you were able to go down the highway at about 90, 100 miles an hour, cop not even mess with you.
Yep. No, cops wouldn't pull you over. They wouldn't mess with you. That you just go. And they didn't care.
Driving a tow truck, you didn't get a DUI. You didn't get nothing. I towed a lady home. She was a DUI, suspended license, no insurance, and expired plates. Cops said, just take her, tow her home, pay the tow bill.
Really?
The only were if you ran into a house or, destruction of any sort of property, you'd get a DUI. If you got pulled over, the cop would call you, tow truck, and take you home. No arrest at all.
Wow. Well, they're back to arresting people for that now. And it's funny because people like that get arrested now for like DUIs, DWIs, or, these smaller offenses, they're literally going after those people more. But if you get, and I have to touch base on this, but if you get arrested for anything that has to do with like being a pedophile, you get a slap on the wrist, time served, and then 2 years probation. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Because that's what they want. They want the pedophiles. They want to make it a norm so they can get away with what they're doing.
No. And I'm surprised to be seeing that more and more, especially in the county that, being in McHenry County, we're a more conservative county, and these judges are just like letting these fucking people go.
Follow the money.
Yeah. No, exactly. But if you get arrested for, granted, if you get arrested for a DUI, you should be locked up for a while. You should lose your license and all that stuff, because you're playing with not only your life but other people's lives.
Uh-huh.
But are
the cops really pulling you over because DUI is a lot of money?
Well, yeah.
So is it the money, or is it that somebody really cares?
Well, you would like to think it's because they really care. But $10,000 to the state.
Look at the places that make all their money on the car with the blow machine. That's a lot of money that those places make. Putting it in, taking it out, the monthly payment.
Yeah, it is a cash cow for them. Well, look at Lakemore. They put that fucking that light back up, that light camera back up, and they're just nailing people left and right. They're making probably millions of dollars again off that shit when it was already proven the last time that it shouldn't be there.
So is it DUI because they care, or is it because of money?
That could be up for debate. I think it could be a mixture between both. I think depending on the officer that pulls you over, I think it could be because that officer cares. But in the same aspect, it's going to have some money because it's going to make him look good. Now, if you have an officer that's pulling nothing but, getting nothing but DUIs on people,
they have officers like that.
Well, then those officers are. What's that?
These towns have officers like that.
Yeah, and then I think those officers may be more doing it for the money.
Yeah.
They get that quota up but they claim that there's no quota.
Look at how much money the states all of them make off of it.
Oh, they make millions, but yet
$30,000-$40,000 at least.
But yet,
by the time you pay your fines and all the classes and all the blow machine in your car, all of that, it's all money.
And yet,
the lawyers.
And yet, we have some of the highest gas prices across the nation to pay off our debt as for the state because of corruption at our state capitol. But yet they're making millions off of these court cases and all that stuff, and the toll roads, and the higher money for registration and all this other crap. But we're still gonna fuck you guys and have the highest taxes in the nation for gas.
Yeah.
Which, if there's one thing that they could do to help out the American people, is to eliminate the gas tax altogether.
Oh, they can't do that. That's money for Ukraine.
Well, yeah, and yeah, anything you buy right now, anything in taxes is money for Ukraine. Or is it money for Ukraine? Because that has also been proven that it's gone to Ukraine, and back when the FTX was going back through FTX and being back donated to the fucking Democrats.
Yeah,
it was just doing a vicious circle.
A vicious circle. Yeah.
But
look, hey, you get taxed on your check. You get taxed on the iPad you buy. You get taxed on the food you buy. You get taxed on the car you buy. And I sell you something, you get taxed. I mean, it's all taxed.
Yeah, and all that money, you would think we wouldn't be. Well, Biden's Inflation Reduction Act was supposed to take care of inflation when it actually added more inflation. And 87,000 more IRS agents to come after people like me and you, to be audited more and all that stuff. But
well, look, it's just modern day slavery. Never went away. We're still slaves.
Yeah, it's modern day slavery.
Modern day, yeah.
And
you were a slave. You were a slave. You got house and food. Now we're a slave. We get taxed and for all that shit, and we get money to pay for our house and our food. Yep. That gets taxed.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny. Like you buy one thing, and then if you try to sell it now, you're being taxed on selling it.
I'm selling it, yeah.
So it's like, what happened to, you only get taxed one time?
Yeah.
You remember how, the whole reason everything happened with the Boston Tea Party and all that stuff, taxation without representation and, too much tax. And yet here we are.
Yeah.
And now we're our country is $31 trillion in debt because of Joe Biden and his Green Deal push that we all know is just one big scam.
Well, the pay toll. Look at the pay toll. It was supposed to be just to help fix the roads, and look how long that's gone on for.
Yeah, that was supposed to be gone in the 70s.
The 70s. Yeah.
And then it's here it is, and it's more to use the toll roads. So
you save a little bit of money by getting that iPass, but not a whole lot.
No, well, one thing I've noticed even with that iPass is that I have one, and somehow mine got used. My transponder got used somehow in Ohio, and I got charged for that. And then trying to fight that, even though because I don't go to Ohio, trying to fight that, and they're like, "Well, it says you're in Ohio." It's like, "Well, you better fucking look at that again because I haven't been to Ohio. I barely travel your guys' fucking expressways."
Yeah.
And I'm being charged I think it was like $30 for these tolls. I'm like, you better give me my fucking money back. But
funny story. I just got my first iPass just 6 months ago.
Really?
time, I was probably, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 in the hole with them.
Holy
And
shit.
then after COVID and after all this shit, they just kind of let it all go. And they're like, if you just get an iPass, we'll just, walk away. Never a suspended license, never a suspended plate. I just got my first iPass, 2 of them, 6 months ago.
Wow.
At 47 years old.
Yeah, I've had mine for a while now, but I only use it when I absolutely have to. And unfortunately, traffic going down to the city, I avoid I-90 like the plague. I try to take either 290 or 94. That's it.
Yeah.
Fuck 90. I'm not paying this state any more money than I'm already paying them.
Dude, 90 is bad. Pay toll, pay toll, pay toll, pay toll, pay toll, pay toll.
Well, 94 is the same way. Well, trying to get off at 94, you got to pay a toll to just get off. It's like, well, at that point,
355 is pretty bad too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
well, at that point, if you're going up 94 and I live out living out this way, I'm going to take 94 instead of getting off somewhere and paying a toll. I'll just take it up to fucking Wisconsin. The highway state is big. Boop. It's like, fuck you guys. It's a little bit further.
Yeah. In my car, I try to avoid it. In the semi, they got the iPass. I just whatever's easier.
No, well, yeah, that's always the best thing to do then. So, well, I'll tell you what. We are at an hour and 10 minutes, man. Does it feel like it's been that long?
No, not at all.
So, no. Well, I think we're gonna probably cut this because we covered quite a bit. We talked quite a bit. And I think an hour and 10 minutes is probably good for the first show.
For the first show, I think I did all right.
You did perfect. You did perfect. And
I got to get my little area set up better. I see you got the flags and I got the garage. No, I got to get my little area set up better. But hey, for the first show, it's not bad.
No, not bad at all. Well, I'll tell you what. Definitely.
If you have any on camera that makes me look skinnier, would be even better.
Well, you know what? The technology nowadays, I'm sure they have an app for that.
Can we filter this thing here?
I wish, because I got a little bit of chubby cheeks myself, man.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I would definitely like to thank you for being on today. Looking forward to having you on again in the future. Anytime that you want to come on, feel free to come on.